And now a retelling of the movie The Joker. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Maybe we can get to 1,000 subscribers together. Enjoy the movie. Gotham City, 1981. The city's utilities are on strike and unemployment is rampant. A failed comedian named Arthur Fleck lives with his ailing mother Penny. He works as a clown in a small entertainment agency and dreams of a career as a stand-up comic. His idol is the popular TV host Murray Franklin, whose evening show Arthur and his mother watch every day. The failed comedian even imagines how well their meeting could have turned out in reality. In addition, Arthur suffers from a neurological disorder that causes him to laugh in tense situations. To suppress such attacks, Arthur has to take powerful prescription drugs from a social services worker. After a gang of hoodlums attacks him in an alley, Arthur's colleague Randall gives him a revolver as a means of self-defense. One day Arthur invites his neighbor, single mother Sophie, to his comedy act at a small club, after which they begin dating. During a performance at a children's hospital, Arthur's revolver accidentally falls out of his pocket in front of the young audience. The agency finds out about it and Arthur is fired, while Randall lies to his superiors that Arthur tried to buy a gun from him. In the subway, still in clown makeup, the protagonist witnesses 3 drunken men molesting a girl. Arthur is seized by a sudden fit of laughter, diverting the attention of the trio. Seizing the moment, the girl leaves the carriage, and the hooligans beat and abuse Arthur. Arthur snatches a revolver, kills 2 of the bullies and wounds the third. The third one jumps out at the station, but Arthur catches up with him at the stairs and discharges the rest of his ammunition. Gotham's mayoral candidate, billionaire Thomas Wayne, condemns the crime. It turns out that those killed were managers of his corporation. Wayne calls those who envy more successful people clowns, and his words lead to mass protests. The protesters put on clown masks, approving the murder of the trio. Meanwhile, due to the recession, the city cuts funding for welfare programs, leaving Arthur without the medicine he needs. Arthur's comedy show is not a success. He is prevented from performing jokes by uncontrollable laughter. Meanwhile, Arthur manages to read a letter written by his mother, which she asked him to send to Thomas Wayne. The letter reveals that Arthur is the illegitimate son of Thomas Wayne. Arthur scolds his mother for hiding the truth. He heads to Wayne Manor to meet with Wayne and talks there with Thomas's young son, Bruce. The conversation is interrupted by the Wayne's butler, Alfred Pennyworth. Arthur asks him to see his father, but the butler claims that Penny is mentally ill and has made the whole thing up. After saying this, Arthur attacks Alfred and runs away. After a visit from 2 Gotham police detectives investigating Arthur's involvement in the train murders, Arthur's mother Penny has a stroke and is admitted to the city hospital, where she is visited by Arthur and Sophie. Murray Franklin, a popular late-night talk show host, mocks Arthur on his television program by showing a segment of his performance and mockingly calls Arthur a joker. Under the guise of a member of the maintenance staff, Arthur sneaks into Wayne Hall, meets Thomas Wayne, who confirms the butler's version that Penny is delusional and Arthur is not really her own son. Arthur still can't believe it. He becomes hysterical and later has a fit of laughter, provoking Thomas Wayne to punch him. In an attempt to establish the truth, Arthur comes to Arkham Asylum, persuades the clerk of the registrar's office to give him his mother's file, and upon refusal simply takes the documents and runs away. The documents reveal that Penny adopted Arthur and allowed her boyfriend to beat him severely, which once ended in a serious head injury. Earlier, Penny had assured Arthur that Thomas Wayne had used his influence to falsify the adoption and send her to the asylum, thus confusing his family tree. Arthur then shows up unannounced at Sophie's apartment. A frightened neighbor asks him to leave. At this point, it becomes clear that their previous encounters were only Arthur's delusional fantasies. He leaves, heads to the hospital to see Penny and kills her. On the heels of the popularity of Arthur's performance footage, which has generated unexpected interest among viewers, he is invited to appear on Murray's show. The hapless comedian accepts the invitation, planning to commit suicide that night on the show's live broadcast. While preparing for the show, he is visited by his former co-workers Gary and Randall, who ask how he is feeling, to which Arthur replies that he is feeling great because he has stopped taking pills. They express their condolences to Arthur on the death of his mother, and Randall at the same time tries to negotiate over the revolver he gave Arthur. Arthur brutally murders Randall, but leaves Gary alive as the only one of the firm's employees who has always treated him well. On his way to the studio on a subway train filled with clown demonstrators, Arthur is chased by two detectives. One of them inadvertently shoots at the protesters, riots break out, and Arthur leaves, taking advantage of the resulting chaos. Before the show begins, Murray warmly chats with Arthur, who asks the host to introduce him as the Joker. Arthur appears on air, fulfilling a lifelong dream. He starts telling unfunny jokes and then confesses that he killed those people on the train and is unrepentant because society deserves it. Murray gets into a discussion with Arthur, but the latter accuses the presenter of mocking him, and instead of a pre-planned suicide, he kills the presenter himself with a revolver, and then addresses the viewers with the words from the show's slogan, "That's life." The police arrest Arthur. Viewers panic and riots break out in the street. Wayne and his wife and son make their way through the troubled streets of Gotham as they leave the movie theater. They turn down a quiet alley, but there they are overtaken by one of the protesters wearing a clown mask. He kills Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha, leaving their son Bruce alive. One of the protesters crashes into a police car carrying Arthur, who is dragged out of the car by the protesters and laid on the hood. After Arthur regains consciousness, he rises to the shouts of the crowd, draws a smile on his face with blood, then turns to the protesters and spins around in a jubilant dance. At last, the Joker becomes a hero in the eyes of the crowd and receives the recognition he has desired all his life. At the end of the movie, Arthur, placed in a ward at Arkham Asylum, laughs. A female psychiatrist asks him why he is doing this. Arthur replies that he made up a joke. When asked to tell it, he replies, "You wouldn't understand," and then starts humming the theme song of Murray's show, "That's Life." In the next scene, Arthur walks out into the corridor, leaving bloody footprints on the floor, presumably having killed the doctor to escape the orderlies chasing him. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also put a like. Also, write in the comments which next movie to do a recap on. Have a great day.